Have you ever felt a deep silence? Not the quiet of a peaceful night, a heavy silence, the kind that settles when someone you love stops talking to you. It's a silence that shouts. It speaks of distance. It hints at a problem. This silence can be unsettling. It can make your heart ache. You wonder what went wrong. You long to hear their voice again. This is the kind of silence we sometimes face, even with God. God is a speaking God. He spoke creation into existence. He spoke to prophets. He spoke through his son, Jesus. His words bring life. His words bring comfort. His words bring guidance. So, what happens when he seems to stop speaking? What does it mean when the heavens feel like brass? When prayers seem to bounce off the ceiling? The prophet Hosea knew about this kind of silence. In the 5th chapter of his book, he paints a vivid picture. He describes a time when God deliberately withdraws. He steps back. He becomes quiet. Not because he doesn't care. His silence is not a sign of indifference. Hosea's message wasn't just for the people of ancient Israel. It wasn't a dusty scroll meant only for history books. His words echoed down through the centuries. They speak to us today, right here, right now. His cry is a universal warning. It's for any person, any family, any nation. It's for anyone who finds themselves drifting away from God, drifting away from the one who loves them most. The core issue Hosea addresses is so simple, yet it's so profoundly difficult. It's the neglect of true repentance, not just saying sorry, not just feeling bad for a moment, but a real turning, a change of heart, a change of direction, a conscious decision to leave the path of self-will, to return to the path of God's will. This is the repentance God looks for. This is what opens the door to his presence. Hosea saw his people caught in a dangerous cycle. They were forgetting God. They were choosing their own ways. Hosea doesn't pull any punches. He starts by addressing the leaders. Hear this, you priests. Pay attention, you Israelites. Listen, royal house. Why them first? Because leaders have a special responsibility. They are like shepherds. They are meant to guide the flock, to protect them, to lead them to good pastures, to lead them closer to the good shepherd himself. Their influence is powerful. But what happens when the shepherds stumble? What if they lead the flock astray? Hosea says these leaders had become a snare at Mizpah, a net spread out on Tabor. These were places of worship, places meant for drawing near to God. But the leaders had corrupted them. They had turned sacred spaces into traps. They led the people into sin, into rebellion, into deep trouble. This is a heavy charge, a sobering thought. This isn't just an ancient problem, is it? We see it today. Leaders in all walks of life, in churches, in governments, in businesses, and families, when leaders prioritize power over people, when they choose personal gain over integrity. After addressing the leaders, Hosea turns to a deeper issue, an issue that affects everyone. It's the problem of pride. He says, I know all about Ephraim. Israel is not hidden from me. God sees everything. He sees the outward actions, but he also sees the heart. And what he saw in Israel and Ephraim was a stubborn pride, a pride that was blinding them, a pride that kept them from seeing their true condition. Israel's pride testifies against him, Hosea declares. Think about that. Their own arrogance was a witness confirming their guilt. Pride is like a thick veil. It covers our eyes. It distorts our vision. We can't see ourselves clearly. We can't see our faults. We can't see our need for help. We certainly can't see our need for God. Pride whispers, you're doing fine. You don't need anyone. You're in control. Such dangerous lies. Pride makes repentance almost impossible. If you don't think you're sick, why would you go to a doctor? If you don't think you're lost, why would you ask for directions? Pride tells us we have it all figured out. Hosea Chapter 5, verses 6 to 7. The people of Israel were still performing religious rituals. They would go with their flocks and herds to seek the Lord. Hosea Chapter 5, verse 6. They brought their sacrifices. They went to the temple. On the surface, it might have looked like they were devout. They were doing all the religious things. They were checking all the boxes, but something was terribly wrong. Something was missing. Something vital. Despite their outward shows, Hosea says, they will not find him. He has withdrawn himself from them. Imagine that. Going through all the motions of worship, offering sacrifices, saying prayers, and God isn't there. He has pulled away. Why? Because their hearts were not in it. Their religion was hollow. It was a performance. It lacked sincerity. It lacked true devotion. It lacked a genuine desire for God himself. They were unfaithful to the Lord. They have borne illegitimate children. Hosea chapter 5, verse 7. This strong language shows the depth of their betrayal. Their actions, their lives, did not match their religious claims. They were living one way during the week, then putting on a show of piety on the Sabbath. God sees through such hypocrisy. He desires truth in the inward parts. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to Hope Every Day at Mary.Kagiri, where we bring you powerful and inspirational Bible studying every week. The tone shifts in Hosea 5 verse 8. It becomes urgent. Sound the trumpet in Gibeah, the horn in Ramah. Raise the battle cry in Bethaven. These are alarms, warnings of impending danger. Judgment is coming. God's patience has a limit. He has been calling them, pleading with them, but they have not listened. Now the consequences of their choices are about to unfold. This is serious. This is real. God describes his judgment in sobering terms. I am like a moth to Ephraim, like rot to the people of Judah. Hosea 5:12. A moth doesn't destroy a garment in one swift bite. It works slowly, quietly, almost unseen, until one day the fabric is full of holes. It's ruined. Rotten wood works the same way. It eats away from the inside, weakening the structure until it collapses. This is how sin works. This is how God's judgment can manifest, not always in a sudden lightning bolt, but in a slow, steady decay. Hosea 5:13 through 15. When Ephraim and Judah saw their sickness, their decay, what did they do? Did they turn to God? No. Ephraim turned to Assyria, and Judah sent to the great king. Hosea 5:13. They looked for human solutions. They sought help from powerful nations. They trusted in political alliances. They tried everything except the one thing that could truly heal them. They did not seek the Lord. This is a common human pattern, isn't it? So God says, I will be like a lion to Ephraim, like a great lion to Judah. I will tear them to pieces and go away. I will carry them off with no one to rescue them. Hosea 5:14. This sounds fierce, it sounds terrifying, but then comes the crucial part. Then I will go back to my place until they admit their guilt, and they will seek my face. In their misery they will earnestly seek me. Hosea 5:15. This is the key. God's withdrawal, his silence, his fierce action, it all has a redemptive purpose. It's not to destroy them completely. It's to bring them to a point of realization, to a place where they finally see their sin, to a place where they acknowledge their guilt, to a place where in their distress they finally earnestly seek his face. Sometimes we have to hit rock bottom. As we read Hosea 5, it's easy to think of it as ancient history, a story about a faraway people and their struggles. But if we listen closely, we can hear the echoes in our own world, echoes in our own lives. The specific sins might look different on the surface, the idols might have different names, but the underlying heart issues, they are remarkably similar. Human nature hasn't changed all that much. Think about the corrupt leadership Hosea condemned. Do we not see leaders today who prioritize power or profit over people, who fail to uphold justice and integrity? Think about the pride that blinded Israel. Do we not see a culture that often celebrates self-reliance to an extreme? A culture that sometimes makes it hard to admit weakness or need? A culture that can be obsessed with image and appearance? These are modern manifestations of ancient problems. Consider the hollow religion. People going through religious motions without a genuine heart connection to God. Does that sound familiar? In a world full of busyness and distraction, it's easy for faith to become just another item on the to-do list. Instead of a life-transforming relationship, we might seek quick fixes for our problems from every source imaginable. Hosea 5 is a tough chapter. It's full of strong warnings. It speaks of judgment. It describes God withdrawing his presence. It can feel a bit bleak, but we must remember the bigger story. The story of Hosea is ultimately a story of God's relentless pursuing love. Even in his silence, even in his judgment, his aim is always redemption. His goal is always restoration. He is always working to bring his people back to himself. The chapter ends with God saying he will wait until they admit their guilt. And they will seek my face. In their misery they will earnestly seek me. Hosea 5:15. This isn't the end of the story, it's an invitation. It's a statement of hope. It implies that the seeking will happen, that the turning is possible, that the misery will eventually lead them to the only true source of comfort and healing. God is waiting, patiently, lovingly. No matter how far we've strayed, no matter how deaf we've been to his calls, no matter how much we've relied on our own strength or worldly solutions, the door is not permanently shut. God's love does not give up. His desire is for us to come home, softly. If you found this message meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Follow us for more inspiring content. Thank you for your support.